Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Tud.
And I'm Obert.
And I noticed that the whiteboard still not done.
We haven't talked about it. What else would you like to see to make this done in your mind?
Well, I don't know, Obert. It doesn't seem like we have no tally marks for how many perfect scores we have.
You know, I was thinking about that too, but we're all tied, so I think I want to reset the clock on that one.
Technically, we're not tied.
I thought we all had three.
I do not have three.
Right. Very important to know that Tud does not have
then.
three.
I will draw 3 swans for Tud, or 3 swans for Chris, 3 swans for Obert, and 2 swans for Tud on this board. You're right, it is not done. Now that I know that, I will unreset the clock.
Yeah. So, as you know, I just feel like I'm disappointed. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Well, now that I'm getting your feedback, I thought it was done. I just needed to know. You don't think it's done, so I'll put some more onto it.
I missed the old whiteboard. What's the word? The old Kanye. The something Kanye. Hang on. I missed the old whiteboard. The straight from the go whiteboard. Chop up the points whiteboard. The set on our goals whiteboard. I hate the new whiteboard. The bad mood whiteboard. The always not done whiteboard. The spaz in the news whiteboard. I missed the sweet whiteboard.
Is that Kanye copy pasta you just dropped on us?
Yeah. Sure is.
Well, that's perfectly valid criticism. I think no one can say anything about that. No, it's a refresh for season 3. Looking forward.
Right.
We're getting ready for next season. You know.
Yeah. Season 2 finale next week. Crazy.
Next week.
I will not be here.
Wait, I thought so. Is episode 200 the first episode of season 3 or the last episode of season 2 or both?
Yeah, it's both actually.
Yeah, because I think Tud can't miss the finale.
I guess the season finale and the season
premiere
unfinale. Yeah, the season
it
first
all
one.
Rolls, yeah, it all rolls into one.
Yep.
Yeah, I have my friend Andrew says that the football season starts the minute the Super Bowl ends, which I don't understand.
That's true.
But,
the NFL has made it a year-round sports league now.
So that'll be basically what our episode 200 is.
And yeah, and I think I heard. Did I hear a rumor that Oktoberfest is canceled this year already?
So we're just going with Oktoberfestapalooza continues?
Well, I think that we need to acknowledge that Oktoberfest still rages on, or Oktoberfestapalooza still rages on.
It's true.
Because as we know, Oktoberfestapalooza ends when Oktoberfest begins, and begins immediately once Oktoberfest is over. But if Oktoberfest never happens, it's like Schrodinger's Oktoberfestapalooza.
Well, this is the longest Oktoberfestapalooza since Oktoberfest started in like 1300 something. So it's a very special event that you're all witnessing.
Right. I am curious to know why Oktoberfest in 2022 is canceled, and I could just be lying.
Don't get my hopes up with all the Oktoberfestapalooza. It's what I look forward to all year.
It is nice, but I do enjoy the break from the Oktoberfestapalooza and the Oktoberfest activities. So.
Nope. So apparently Oktoberfest is a go-ahead in 2022. As we all know, it did not happen in 2021 or 2020. But
wow.
I did hear rumors that it was being canceled in 2022 as 2022 too, if that makes sense.
It's because it's everybody's so woke now. They had to cancel Oktoberfest.
Yeah, everybody is so hyped about Oktoberfestapalooza, they don't want it to end.
Well, did you see what Oktoberfest said on Twitter? That's what got them canceled.
They said something in German. It was, then it was translated into English. There was a misunderstanding in translation, and now
there
it's
was
back.
an umlaut where there shouldn't have been, and that really caused a big uproar.
Right.
Yeah. I am looking forward to Oktoberfest. If you're thinking about making an Oktoberfest beer, it might be too late already. I don't know. I think you had to brew it about a month ago.
Yeah.
It's August now, so you
Correct.
might be able to sneak it in before the Christmas seasonals come out. But
only if you brew it like this weekend. After this weekend, it's over.
Capture
this is it, folks.
Yeah. Capture the late market Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Once all of the good Oktoberfest beers are sold out, if you make a mediocre one, you can capture that market.
That would be great if you were like a I would say a sub-average brewery. If you just brewed all the styles 2 months too late. And that way, when it was fine, because as we know, Oktoberfest comes out in September, but you really want to drink it in October, at least in America. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Christmas beers; they start to pop up in October.
I am liking this idea. I think you're onto something here.
And pumpkin beers, pumpkin beers pop up in August. So if you started brewing pumpkin beers in October, by the time Thanksgiving came around, you would sell out all of your pumpkin beers. By the time Christmas rolled around, you would actually release it near Christmas. All of your Christmas beers would be sold out. So I think that the most mediocre brew, you know what, Sam Adams, this is your new marketing gimmick.
See, I disagree. Sam Adams is the worst offender for the early seasons.
I think Sam Oktoberfest is out right now.
August 1st, I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Yeah, it's just like Christmas. It gets earlier every year.
Well, this is like the great value version, I think. Of if there's a great value brewery,
right,
where they buy the discount grains and malts and stuff after all the good breweries have had the pickings of the finest stuff, they come in and swoop in and get the discounted secondhand malted barley or something.
Well, this is like the Aldi's version of beers.
Exactly.
When Chris buys his Aldi's seltzers, this is what Aldi should do with their beers.
Yes, I think we need to talk to Aldi about this.
Mr. Aldi, give me a call.
Yeah, as soon as those lagering tanks are emptied with the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, that's when our Oktoberfest swoops in,
Right.
I like this idea. Discount late season, but perfectly timed beers.
Listen, sometimes I'm smarter than I look.
And the thing is, we don't sell them at discount beer prices.
No. We sell them at normal pricing because we'll actually release them at the time that people want the damn beer.
December 19th is when our Christmas beer comes out. You got a week.
Right. And we'll save money because we don't have to brew mega batches like Sam Adams does because we only need ours to be around for a week. Then we're on to the next one.
Yeah. Our New Year's beer.
Yes. That comes out on the 25th.
Yes. Yeah. I think you got to be in line for Boxing Day, 8 a.m. when the liquor store's open.
Well, what we'll do to help people out, we'll release it on Christmas Eve.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
I like this. This is a multi-billion-dollar idea. Like Jeff Bezos is ringing my phone right now saying that he's going to give me all his money because it's such a good idea.
Yeah, I'm getting a call from Theodore Aldi himself, asking if he can partner with us. So
well, who's going to pay more?
I don't know. I'd rather sell our beer in Aldi's than on Amazon's website.
That's fair.
True.
I'd buy it.
Hell yeah. I mean, we would all buy it. That's why we think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all this talking about beer made me thirsty, I guess.
Well,
all this beer talk.
I heard a good one. How did it go? I'm gonna butcher it, but it was a personalized 2-wheeled gyroscopic personal transporter invented in 2002. It was called a Segway. Now, what are you drinking, Todd?
Wow.
That's all the soundboard I deserb for that one. That's
yes,
fair.
exactly. I don't think it's ready.
All right. Chris, why don't you go first? What do you got for us tonight? Hit us with that signature Chris beer fridge groan.
I'm not going to do it anymore. You guys got me.
It's beer 30, and I'm thirsty. I've been working like a dog all week long, so maybe something cold won't hurt me. Cause it's beer 30, and it's time to party. Yeah, baby.
Chris, I'm really upset that you got so self-conscious to get rid of the groan.
Nope, I have to listen. I have an image to upkeep, okay?
Well, I can go back through the archives, find your last time you got a beer out of the fridge, and edit that groan in.
You also are supposed to be known as the old man of the pod, so don't you want to upload that image?
I am the old man of the pod. I'm distinguished. You're supposed to respect your elders.
Not this elder.
All right, I have another. So we're moving. We're moving, right? We're buying a house. So
congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you. Yes.
Hooray!
Hopefully, if everything goes correctly, I'll close in 9 days as of recording. So a few days less when you listen to this on Thursday. Multiple times. So my goal was the beer fridge needs to be empty.
Oh, I like that goal.
Before I move out, right? So
what if you fail this goal?
Then
He's moving drunk.
Yeah, moving drunk. I'm gonna be chugging beers while we're loading up the U-Haul. So that being said, I have now I do have bottles that I'm gonna use, obviously, because episode 200, drink my oldest beer, and I have I'll probably need a filler bottle for next week because the stuff I have in there it's all stuff I've had before. But this is maybe another whoopsie-daisy that I got from my friends over at Ultimate Ales. And like I said last week, you can sell me anything, literally anything, and I don't even check anything. Another coconut beer with coconut.
I just have to say,
listen,
I enjoy coconut. Todd
Yeah.
likes coconut too. I think you reviewed more coconut beers than the two of us combined.
Correct. I'm
How are you doing this?
I don't know. I actually have stouts in there too that have coconut. I was like, I don't know how this happens.
I'm aware you have all these coconut beers because if memory serves me correct, Ober and I tried to help you drink your coconut beers when we were in town. And I believe you yelled at me, I don't want to drink no coconut. Where you would only had to drink a third of a beer with coconut in it, had you have let us assist you with this process.
Well, now I'm drinking coconut all by myself. All by myself. I'm hoping that this one will. There's a lot of flavors in this beer. So what I'm having is from our good friends over at Arcane Ale Works in collaboration with Deciduous Brewing Company. I'm having Grandma Fingers Pastry Sour Cherry Dump Cake. So This is a sour ale with cherry, pineapple, coconut, pecan, vanilla cake, and milk sugar. So lactose, of course.
I could see how you didn't notice the coconut right away when you bought that.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things I overlooked. I should have read those ingredients with a magnifying glass, but I didn't have it. I didn't have it available at the time. Plus, I was excited to see Arcane Ale Works. I talked about them before. I actually went there in Florida. It's a really cool spot, really, really good beer. So I was just excited to see them. So I was like, yeah, give it to me. So
I don't like the name.
Arcane?
No, the
Kinda
name of the
cool.
beer.
Oh yeah, no. Grandma Fingers is kind of a weird name. Yeah.
Can we take a closer look at that
Yeah.
can label? Is that a finger acting as a grandmother?
No, it's a grandmother with a finger that's like chopped off. My ring light is wreaking havoc on this thing right now.
It's not chopped off. She stuck her finger. She fingered the
Oh,
pie.
she did. Yeah, she did. Here, let me see if I can.
Yeah, turn off that ring light. I want to take a look at this. Look at this beer.
There it is.
Oh. Okay.
That's
So she
it.
has a finger covered in pie gunk.
Yep. It's a weird can. It's a weird can.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm with Ted on this one. Not
I don't like it.
appetizing.
Yeah, the slogan, by the way, is "Granny's got dumps like a truck."
Okay.
I mean, Cisco will love it, but that being said, I'm hopeful that this is going to be solid. After this, I'm taking a coconut embargo.
Yeah. I don't know, again, how you end up with somebody accidentally in your house.
I have 2 stouts in there that have coconut in it. I think I bought them for potentially to share or have with Dana, and Dana doesn't drink as much as we used to. So here we go, pouring Grandma's Fingers in here.
Now, what previous Arcane Ale Works beers have you had that we might remember?
I would have to look it up.
But you've been to the brewery.
I have been to the brewery, yeah. And they had like man, I looked it up last time. It was like a peach habanero.
You had Gimme Swelter.
Gimme Swelter, yes. There you go. But it was like a peach habanero something or sour, and that thing was freaking spectacular.
That was
spectacular.
the 2018 gold medal winner for them.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
See?
The
Gold
Florida
medal.
Weiss.
It's because I voted for it that way.
You gave it a 4.5.
Yeah,
on tap.
it was very good. It was low ABV if I remember correctly. It was like 3 point something. But it's very good.
It is 3.4%.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
quick side tangent here. So I went and saw my brewery friend this weekend and talked to him about my really low percentage ABV homebrew. I may have done it wrong. Because apparently you can't check final gravity with a refractor. You have to take a Brix reading and then report it or change it back to a FG rating. So my beer is somewhere between 7.6% and 8.9% ABV.
oh, okay.
Glad we got to the bottom of that mystery.
I know. That was weird. Yeah.
It was very strange, and I have now learned a lot. So thank you, Heath, that problem solved.
Oh, there you go. Hey, nice. See that? We learned something today. So here we go. 0 head. Head's gone already. It didn't last very long. It was very slight. It's a dark, almost like amber, like dark amber, dark reddish amber cherry. Makes sense.
Like you just stuck your finger in a pie.
Like you just stuck your finger in a pie.
Or your grandma fingered a pie.
Oh, golly, you were, listen.
Well, that's the name of the beer.
I know. But the way, the pause was what I didn't like. But here we go. Light test, of course, coming at you right now. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, it kind of lights up a little bit. You might be able to see something. Oh, you might be able to dodge it. I don't know. You might live. It would be.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that our patrons haven't told us how much they hate this bit yet.
No, they love it. That's why.
I think this means that they love it, as we've clearly discussed.
Silence is agreeing, right?
I hear that, folks. If you don't say anything on Discord, we're just gonna keep doing it.
And you're gonna keep loving it.
Yes.
So let's see how it is. There's a lot of flavors in this beer, including one of my least favorite ingredients in beer. So hopefully it's enough to drown it all out. Let's find out.
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. It's strong. Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good.
Wow, there's number one, a lot going on with this beer, like a lot. I just want to start off by saying the mouthfeel is like very much more on like the motor oil side, like very thick, very thick. I don't get a ton of carbonation off of it. Definitely more of like a milkshakey style sour. And there's a lot of flavors going on. There is coconut, of course, but like you get hit with like a really nice, like almost like a sweet cherry. And cherry's generally not my favorite flavor, but it's really nice. There is some of that like an undertone of the coconut, but you taste the pecans, which is kind of interesting. It adds like a nice little like nutty sweetness to it. It's actually like pretty good.
But I think Chris secretly likes coconut. I think we're learning that over the past couple weeks he really does like it.
I mean, at this point, how could he not? With all these delicious beers he's had that has had it.
Right.
It says it has pineapple. I can kind of get a little bit of tropical fruitness on the back end. Some of your typical like pineapple bitter. It's not overly pineapple-y. But honestly, this is pretty good. I mean, the vanilla cake. It is pretty sweet. Maybe that's what's working with the cherry to help like add, number one, some thickness, and number two, some of that sweetness. Because, like I said, cherry's normally not my go-to, but like this is actually pretty good. I mean, there is some coconut undertones. It doesn't ruin it for me. It's like there's enough stuff over the top of it that like, yeah, it's there, but it kind of, it gets drowned out pretty quickly. But overall, it's a pretty good beer. It's pretty solid.
You're making me want it because I actually like coconut.
I think you guys would enjoy this like quite a bit.
If it was a different name, I would probably enjoy it.
Todd's like -2 points for the name for sure. I'm gonna give it a. Oh man. Let me do one more. I'm torn between two numbers. Damn, I wish I had new Untapped. I'm gonna give it a something.
Okay, that's step one. Admitting that you're gonna give it a rating.
I'm gonna give it a 4 1/4. I think I'm gonna give it.
You between
4 and 4 and 4 1/4. Like it's very good. It's very good, and it's not overpowerfully coconutty. And the rest of the stuff, like I love even like the little hint of pecan. I like. I in my old age have realized I really enjoy pecan, like pecan pie and stuff like that. So like
pecan.
I said what I said. And so I'm like I'm pretty happy with it. So 4 1/4, solid, very solid.
Well, Chris, let's say there was 299 ratings on Untapped.
Ooh, Jesus.
I'm assuming so low because of the name. People were like, nah.
Or the label art.
Todd, you would absolutely try this beer regardless of the name.
It's still a shitty name, and I think I would tell, if I was at Arcane Beer Works sitting in their tap room, I'd be like, guys, come on. You know what you're doing. It's not nice to anybody.
What would your grandmother think of this name?
Exactly.
Grandma would probably like it. Let me see. 299 is so low.
It is one away from 300, though.
I could be the 300th one. I don't think it's gonna be as high as me. I'm gonna say maybe in the between 4 and 4.25 for sure. I'm gonna say give me the information 411.
So not close at all.
Damn.
In fact, people really do like this beer.
Oh,
Higher than
His guess is low.
yeah, it's higher than your rating at a 4.32.
holy crap! I was not. No, I would have never guessed it.
So
So,
people really like this beer. I can't tell if that's I can't tell if that's the Florida crowd. Is that the New Hampshire crowd with deciduous or deciduous?
I don't know. Yeah. Wow. Well, it is a good beer. So I'm glad people enjoy it. I'm sad that I was way off, but I was on a little bit of a hot streak there. But I mean, you never know. That's the wonder of it all. But
That is true.
Okay. Arcane. I'm telling you, good stuff. But I think Tud has a beer to tend to.
We can hope.
Oh no.
So I've got an interesting beer that was gifted to me from a friend for my birthday, which was this past Thursday that we completely forgot to talk about last
Happy
week.
birthday, Ted.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now
So it
you're
wasn't-
old like me.
That is true. So it was a week ago today when you're hearing the sound of my beautiful voice, August 4th, and one of my friends gifted me a beer by Abomination called Drippy Popsicle.
Wow. I love Abomination, so tell me more.
It is a bomb pop beer with a crow that's a skeleton crow that's a penguin. A skeleton penguin, or a penguin that doesn't have any fur on its head, just a skeleton penguin head with a penguin body holding a bomb pop.
This is the second bomb pop beer you've brought to the podcast.
That is true. And so what this technically is it's a fruited smoothie sour with cherry, lime, blueberry, and raspberry. So what makes this beer unique, though, is it says, make your own drippy popsicle at home. Stick can in freezer, wait 1 hour, open, pour, and serve.
Oh, so you make it a beer slushie?
I believe so.
Huh.
Interesting.
So the beer I got today at work, because it was one of my coworkers that gave it to me. So I did not put it in the fridge until about 7:30ish. So it's been in the fridge. It was in the fridge for about an hour and a half before I put it in the freezer, and now it's been in the freezer for about an hour and a half. So I think this should be cold enough to do this. This weighs in at 5.5% ABV, and obviously it's Abomination, so we know it's already going to be incredible, I believe. But let's crack it open and see. Hopefully this does not make a giant freaking mess.
Let's find out. Yeah, so for listeners who might not be familiar with Bob Pops, the red, white, and blue popsicle that had what was it? Cherry is the white, blueberry is the blue, and what's the red one? Cherry?
I think it's blue raspberry, lemon, and cherry.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, I don't think this. It did not freeze into a slushie. It just froze into a normal beer.
You don't put the glass in the freezer and I'll review my beer?
No. I don't want to. I will report back in a couple weeks as to whether or not this worked again, because I will continue to try this.
So you got a whole 4-pack. Okay.
Yes, I got a whole 4-pack, so I will continue to try this until I find success or all 4 beers are gone, whichever comes first. Similar to Chris's, it is a little bit darker than Chris's. It's almost black.
Yeah, it looks like a flat Coke.
Yeah, but it definitely has a red tinge to it.
Oh,
it is.
Looks like a flat cherry Coke.
No way. You're dead. Dark as night.
The light test reports back no seeable light through the drippy popsicle.
You wouldn't even see the taillights after you went over the...
No, this is as
over the
dark
car.
it's as dark as a stout. It's 1 billion SRM. On the nose, it smells abundantly of cherry. It smells like it's definitely going to be very sour. It does not, just for comparison's sakes. So the other bomb pop beer I brought was the Alvarium Rocket Pop. This does not smell like that beer. It smells entirely different. A lot more cherry on the nose. You get a lot more of that sour funk smell on the nose as well. No discernible head either. Just kind of went away. But let's try this baby and see if it tastes like a popsicle.
I will say my 4-year-old would love this. He loves those Bon Pops.
So as one would expect, coming out of the freezer, it is very cold. Usually I would not bring this cold of a beer to the podcast, but we were trying to go for something here that did not work. So Unfortunately, I'm going to have to review this beer way too cold for probably what it's trying to pull off. It is not as sour as it smells. And it tastes kind of like that faux cherry. It tastes kind of like a faux cherry part of the Bomb Pop. Where, you can tell that they're going for cherry, but it's not quite cherry. It tastes like what it's supposed to taste like, in my opinion. Probably should be frozen, but it does finish with a very odd, malt flavor. You can actually taste the malt on the back end, which is very odd. Especially for something that's supposed to be a sour. And I know Abomination can do sours because they've done sours in the past that have been, successful. And this is less than a month old. It was canned on July 13th, 2022 at 1:09 p.m. Not the best. If you're going for a Rocket Pop, I would say go with the Bomb Pop or the Rocket Pop or whatever the name that Alvarium chose to change from, because they got sued by the company that makes these popsicles to change their name. So if the popsicle is Bomb Pop, their beer is Rocket Pop. If the popsicle is Rocket Pop, they change their name to Bomb Pop.
Well, that's disappointing because Abomination always seems like they knock out of the park.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's not terrible. It is very drinkable. It's very crushable. I think that had the gimmick have worked and it was a beer slushie, I think I'd be giving it an entirely different rating. Because I think I'd be, this is really cool. They got a beer slushie in a can, yada, yada, yada.
Do you think maybe you need to give it a little bit to warm up then?
I think the malt taste is just going to become more present.
Okay.
Because it's
well, I guess you could tell us later if your rating would change, right?
Right.
But
right.
You could give us what you were going to say now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 3.75. Not my favorite. A little bit of a letdown.
Okay.
For Untapped.
Well, let me tell you how many ratings there are. Well, Untapped, actually, one less check-in than Chris's with 298 ratings.
Great.
That means you're gonna be 0.01 further away.
The only thing I can think of is that it's gonna have a higher rating because A, Abomination has hot pipe. A lot of hot pipe. And B, if people could get the drippy popsicle aspect to work, I think that's a cool gimmick that gets you a higher rating on Untapped than you usually would get. So I'm going to guess it's going to be, it's still not the best beer. So I'll say gimmick-wise, somewhere around a 4.0. 4 would it be lower than a 4? No, hot pipe would move that up. 3.99.
Okay, I thought you were going to guess much higher.
Right.
You are very close. Not quite there. It is a 4.01.
So far away.
0.02 off.
0.02. Damn it. Left the door wide open for Ober to just waltz right on through.
Mm-hmm.
At least a point.
Yeah.
If you look at the first number, you're a point off. And
yes.
That is true.
You lose a point. You lose a tally. I'm still in the lead.
But the way you were talking, you're like, it's going to be high, which to me
higher
doesn't
than me.
mean
Right.
I meant higher than
4.0.
me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think that I'm a very hard critic for this beer. And because the gimmick didn't work, I am upset with the beer.
Well, sorry, Chris, you are not man of the people this week.
We'll
sad
see.
to say. Maybe there's some weird way I can just take me and Tud out of the running completely.
I guess if we blow up before now and the end of the episode, I guess Chris automatically
If
gets
me
a tally
and
mark.
Tud's guess cancel each other out completely.
Yep.
Yeah, if I get it negative 0.02 off.
Exactly. I win.
So, Obert, as the final person, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm really excited to bring this beer on. It's a brewery I've talked about before that I'm a fan of. I don't know if either two of you have had it much, but one of my favorite breweries out of the state of Vermont somehow made its way all the way here to Montana.
Interesting.
And that is Four Quarters Brewing.
How did you get that out there?
No idea. It was like a magical beer fairy deposited it at my local beer store. This is their Sky Bliss, just labeled an IPA. Can't find too much more information from it on the can. Canned June 21st, so
Not that
reasonably
old.
fresh. Not that old. But yeah, Four Quarters, I love them. You can't find them in Connecticut, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just, it's weird. It's like finding Fat Orange Cat around the country. They must be just hooked up with a weird distribution network somehow where I got them here.
Well, I mean, Fat Orange Cat makes sense though because they're brewed out of 12%, and 12% is a big brewery as far as breweries go, and it also is its own distributor.
Okay. I didn't know you could find other 12% beers that far from Connecticut.
Yeah, I think Jenna has had Skygazer, and Chris has found it, and I think people have found Abomination.
Okay. Yeah, that is news to me. That is interesting. But yeah, so I wish I had more to say about this beer before I cracked it open. I don't even know what hops are in it. It's just a picture of a nice blue, cloudy sky with the beautiful sun nestled in the clouds. Nice orange font on a light blue sky.
Sky what? Sky Bucks?
Sky Bliss.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Stupid sticker on the important information again. This would make sense. They put it over the old UPC. So, like, that makes sense. 6.7% ABV is all I can really find on here, and it just is a single IPA. So, without further ado, let's crack into this sucker. Ooh, it's lighter than I would have guessed. As far as hazies go, it's much more on the pale scale. Has a nice little melon aroma to it. Very sweet in that, like, honeysuckle, honeydew kind of way. Take a look at this beer. Not really coming through the webcam, but it's
Ooh.
It is quite hazy.
It's one of those beers that when you shine a flashlight through it, the whole beer lights up like a light bulb.
Right.
As opposed to being able to see right through it. So you would know a car is coming, but
You'd
you
know
wouldn't
it's
be able
coming,
to
but I don't think
see-
you could dodge it. Yeah.
You couldn't tell if it was a car or a motorcycle based
True.
on the light alone. It's just one big blob of light coming at you.
Right.
Yeah, like I described, you get that melony sweetness on the nose. It smells like it's gonna be tasty. All right, cheers.
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 As a matter of fact, I like beer.
Okay, I'm not good at this game, but I want to throw out a hop prediction.
Ooh, hop prediction.
I think there's El Dorado in here.
We can name this Hop Off the Presses.
Hop Off the Presses, our new hottest, hoppiest segment, where we try and guess what hops are in the beer. And you find out if we're right or wrong. If we can find that information, or we'll never know.
Well, I can tell you that based on Untapped, we will never know.
Okay. I'm afraid to Google it because sometimes Untapped pops up when you hit
I'm working
Google
on
it.
it. But yeah, it's really hard for me to put my finger on what flavors that is evoking. It's just not, I can think what flavors it's not. It's not like a super citrusy flavor. As it's warming up, I'm thinking maybe a little bit of mosaic. That's what I get when sometimes I get that favorite flavor I love to describe to Chris of bubblegummy, where it's that kind of raw sweetness that you get of just like straight sugar. But it is got a little bit of West Coast grittiness to the hop as opposed to being a straight floral citrus bomb. That's where I think the El Dorado is coming in for me. The longer it takes to find the answer, the more hops that I'm afraid that it could be. So I'm going to say I also see like Nelson Sauvignon maybe as an option.
I think they keep this shit under wraps. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like not seeing anything. Like Beer Advocate, this drizzly alcohol delivery service. Like, not seeing much. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, probably El Dorado.
Sure, we'll go with that. What if you go to www.4qbc.com?
I'm working on it.
Okay, sounds like a job for Tud.
Well, it really says Sky Bliss American IPA 6.7% ABV.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too on their website. And like, which wouldn't be notable except every single other one of their IPAs
Tells you what they are.
what their hops are.
Yep.
Right? It's like, oh, First Light IPA with mosaic hops, Ghosts in the Sky, double IPA with Galaxy and Ella hops. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they might have used like an experimental hop variety or just something new that they didn't feel comfortable putting on their menu. So, or it's El Dorado. We'll never know. Okay, well, this has been a bust. What's the segment called again?
Hop Off the Presses.
Hop Off the Presses. This is not on the presses for sure. But it sure
I mean, they
let
tell
me
you how
avoid.
much. They tell you how much what temperature you're supposed to serve it at, but they won't tell you what's in it.
Oh, what temperature is it supposed to be?
45 to 50.
Okay, it's definitely a little cooler than that. It's like fridge temperature, maybe approaching 40 degrees by now. But I'm enjoying it. I won't lie, it's not the Four Quarters beer that made me fall in love with the brewery. It's a stereotypical IPA from a brewery that makes good hazy IPAs.
Okay.
Which is good. It's good. It's a 4.0. It's like not
Okay.
blowing my lid. I think this is, I would go to Skygazer. I would order a flight. This would be one of the IPAs that I would taste and move on from versus like some of the other IPAs I might be like, oh, I want to buy a 4-pack of that to bring home. You know?
It's not special is what you're saying.
It's not special. Thank you, Ted. That's a good way to put it. Sky Bliss, you're ordinary. 4.0.
It's not bliss. It's just Sky Ordinary.
Yeah. So does this have 297 check-ins or what?
No, it's got quite a few more.
Okay.
2,539 check-ins.
That is quite a bit more.
Yep.
I wonder if they think the same as me, that it's just fine. I'm going to go ahead and say Untapped is directly in line with what I guessed and say 4.00. Lock it in.
Well, a valiant effort for second place tonight. It is a 3.89.
Okay.
So, yeah, they agreed. They said it was not their best work.
Fun fact, the two friends that we share in common, Obert, have collectively rated this a 4.0.
Ooh.
So I get a friend tally. There we go. Worth nothing. I write it in invisible ink on the whiteboard. But here's the friend tally for Obert. Gets on the board. We'll never see it, but we'll know it's right here. So there we go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying more of their beer. Hopefully they had one other offering there, but this was the only one I could find singles of. So that's why it's on the show tonight.
This is not a store you can just pull a single off of and make it a single?
Yeah, then I would have left a 3-pack there. And they have like a separate singles section where they have broken up singles. So and they have like they're labeled with the barcodes for singles too. So it just makes the whole thing a little easier, you know?
Yeah. So I'd like to, Obert, if I may, revisit my beer real quick.
Oh, good. You have different thoughts?
So it has warmed up a little bit, and it's interesting because the bready flavor has kind of disappeared. Like the malt flavor at the back has disappeared. Still, I don't think it changes my rating too much. I mean, maybe I'd give it a 4.0 because it doesn't have like that off flavor. But it does concern me that maybe if I would have gotten this as a slushie, it would have had that off flavor. So interesting. But I will report back, like I said, in a couple weeks, hopefully having mastered the making of a beer slushie in my own fridge.
Yeah, I would love to find out from the Abomination folks, like, if they did anything different to this beer, or if you could just throw any beer in the freezer and make your own slushie.
Right.
Did they add glycerin to the beer to make it not freeze so good, or is it just something you could do with any fruited sour?
Yeah, that would
Could you take your grandma's fingers and make a grandma's fingers slushie?
There you go.
No.
Ted says you cannot for the name alone.
Yes,
Get
correct.
that image out of his head.
So, Chris, I know you're a big fan of musicals.
I am, yeah.
Did you see the news today?
I did. Very sad.
I did not. What's the news?
Goodbye, Sandra Dee. Olivia Newton John
Has passed away
at the age of 73.
See, I didn't think Chris was a fan of old musicals.
Grease is one of those ones that I think everybody's a fan of.
Grease is a classic.
Are you a fan of it?
I am.
Ted?
So Grease is actually the first musical I ever saw in a play. I've seen Grease on Broadway. I've seen Grease at the Bushnell. I've seen Grease in a high school play. I like Grease a lot.
Apparently, yeah. You've seen Grease more times than I thought you've gone to the theater in your life.
Like a fancy theater?
Well, yeah, with the E at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Theatre.
No, I do happen to really like Grease. My parents were a big fan of it. My mom was a really big fan of it. I know the soundtrack by heart, frontwards, forwards, backwards. I know everything. I know everything about Grease. I don't know about Grease 2. I've never watched it, but I know Grease. I know Grease 1.
Did you share the news with your mom?
I did not. I think she shared it on Facebook herself, which is how I learned about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad. Dana broke the news to me right before I started stream this evening. So I played some Grease to start my stream today in honor of Olivia Newton John. So
can I just say, what an incredible soundtrack, by the way. Amazing
Grease?
soundtrack.
I mean, it's a classic. It's a classic. You gotta love it.
It's the best musical soundtrack, and I would put that up against. Put it up against Hamilton. I'll put it up against everything. It is the greatest musical soundtrack ever to exist. And Chris is looking at me very confused. And I will tell Chris, I'll tell you this. Grease came out in the 70s. It is still being played today in 2022.
Yeah.
We'll see if Hamilton has longevity, but there's no such thing as, nobody has more longevity than Grease.
Sound of Music. Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear you, Ted.
I'll go with it. I mean, I couldn't tell you any songs from Sound of Music, but I could tell you all the Grease ones.
What about Sound of
Clearly,
Music?
you're a Grease fan.
Yeah.
That opinion is not shared by me. But
Me neither. But it's
that's
a
not
great
an
soundtrack.
official DAWF opinion. That's a ton exclusive there.
It's a great soundtrack. I'm not taking that away. I'm not taking
anybody
that
who
away.
wants to argue, I'll fight him.
Yeah.
But some of these new musicals, I don't know, are just so catchy and so good. And Hamilton's obviously one of them. But
you don't think that the Grease soundtrack is catchy?
I don't think. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't think. I wasn't alive in the 70s. Believe it or not, even in my old age. But I don't know. I just feel like and you mentioned Hamilton, and like so many people listen to that all the time. Like our whole generation is obsessed with Hamilton. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Grease was the same way. You can't stream it though. That's the problem.
So just to throw some numbers at you to cement this, the soundtrack has sold approximately 28 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. Also ranking amongst the biggest selling soundtrack of all time. The song "You're the One That I Want" was a number one hit for both John Travolta and Olivia Newton John. In addition, it had other major hits other major artists such as Sha Na Na, Barry Gibb, Frankie Valli, and it really did jumpstart John Travolta's career, who was one of the biggest actors in the world for a few years, and it also jump-started Olivia Newton-John's not only acting career, but also her singing career, too, where she then went on to have another few hits, all off the back of this one movie.
Yeah, but now she's dead. So how'd that work out for her?
Oh, God.
That is true. That is true. She also went on to fight breast cancer for 30 years.
That's a good thing.
Yeah? It's crazy.
So,
Ted, you sound like a guy who drank Budweiser all his life and then had a Boston Lager when they first came out and was like, I'm only drinking these from now on, and this is the best beer that's ever been invented, and I will fight anyone who disagrees.
Listen, I'm just saying. Also, I mean, hang on one second, Obert.
I was just trying to make this into a beer analogy to relate it back to our podcast, but also in terms of, yes, it was revolutionary, but
also
there have
it was
been
number
further
one in
advances
16 countries.
Technology.
16 countries across the globe, this soundtrack was number one.
Well, what about the soundtrack to Mamma Mia?
Nowhere, I guarantee it's nowhere even close. Mamma Mia, the movie soundtrack. It has sold, it does not say.
Was
it was
number one?
It was number one in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15.
Which is more countries than Greece. And that was just one I just came up with off the top of my head.
No, one less.
Oh, I think you said 12.
No,
the other.
Greece was
Okay.
16.
Gotcha.
It has only sold 1,694 million copies, or 1.6 million copies, across the globe.
Well, I mean, clearly no one on this podcast or who listens to this podcast will ever convince you that Grease is not the best musical that's ever made. And you won't convince me nor Chris that it is the best musical that's ever made. So,
well, and I will say that Hamilton only was number one in one country, the U.S.
Well,
just
take
saying.
that, Hamilton.
Just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Put John Travolta on the 10. Put Olivia Newton-John on the $10 bill is what Ted's saying we should do.
Yep, I'm in.
But no, thanks for sharing the sad news. I guess that's what you do when people share sad news with you. Thank them for it. Yeah, Ted, listen to more musicals. Like, try Grease 2.
No, I don't want to. In the Grease community, Grease 2 is one that is not acknowledged.
For us Grease heads, we don't talk about Grease 2.
Grease 2 is the Jaws 3. Everybody knows that.
Okay. I didn't know Grease 2 was in 3D.
Grease 2 is The Godfather Part 3.
Okay. Jaws 3, Godfather 3,
Yes, it single-handedly
Grease 2.
killed the franchise.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was okay with you not liking musicals when I didn't know you liked Grease. Now that I know you like Grease, I just have so many other musicals that I think you should see.
Listen, I'm all for it, but the issue is that it can't be beat.
It's the
And that's
you're
what makes
only
me
5.0, and all the rest will be 4.75. The rest
That's
of
what
eternity.
that's what makes me not like other musicals is that none of them can compete with Grease. It's an engaging story. It's a good story. It's got great music, some straight up bangers.
I disagree so much with your like. I am imagining one of our listeners, Jason, who we talk about as our movie critic, just like ripping his earbuds out right now with this assessment of Grease.
And he may be, but Jason's not a music guy, so he likes music, but he's not a music buff. And I will tell you this: if you put on Grease, you will belt it out. If you put on Grease Lightning, you will also belt that out. If you put on You're the One That I Want, you will also belt that out.
So in belt out ability, Grease is number one.
Oh, for sure.
Again, Mamma Mia soundtrack. I mean, there's some very beltable songs there.
Well, it's only Mamma Mia, Here I Go Again.
You had it up. I mean, you could go through the track list. There's what is it? Money, Money, Money. There's the Dancing Queen. Basically, every ABBA hit they decided they forced into this musical. So there is an ABBA hit out there that they didn't somehow turn into Mamma Mia.
Yeah, but that doesn't. So technically, I would disagree that counts because if they were already previously
Because
hits,
it's not a real musical.
I'm talking like original soundtrack wise. Nothing on Mamma Mia doesn't sound like a lot of it's original. Grease.
You've never watched the show, so you wouldn't. You can't talk.
But from what you've said, all those songs were previously hits.
Yes, that is true.
Grease, that was all new songs. A lot of them were sung by Olivia Newton John and Olivia Newton John, John Travolta.
Her grandfather.
I do have a question for you, Todd. Can you feel the love tonight?
That's off of Lion King.
Another great musical, better than Grease.
It's not better than Grease though.
Well,
also a great soundtrack. Though.
Hakuna Matata.
Nope. I will die on this ship.
Oh God.
All right. Well, let's get over to the Frosty Mug of Wisdom, where I can't wait to be king. I just can't wait. Let's get over there. Let's fill our Frosty Mug up with musicals, life hacks, bangers, stuff we want to listen to, stuff we want to jam to, stuff we want to hang out with. I don't know. It's a Frosty Mug. Jordan, take it away.
Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Mug of Wisdom! Drink. Mug of Wisdom!
All right, thank you, Jordan. And as we turn to the new and improved whiteboard, what were you saying? All the criticisms you had of it earlier, Todd?
Oh, I want the old whiteboard, the down to ride whiteboard, the way it used to be whiteboard, the fun whiteboard, the original whiteboard. I don't want the bad whiteboard, the unfinished whiteboard, the whiteboard that's under construction.
Yeah,
I like the old whiteboard.
Turn to the whiteboard under construction. Got to erase this big O at the end of Todd's 30. Put in 31 here.
And there's no more gates. Like, Chris can't be the gatekeeper without gates.
I know. They didn't fit with the new motif of video game high score. But Todd, honk, 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 honk. I think my whole objective this episode is just to disagree with Todd in everything, all of his thoughts.
Fine. You're just disagreeing with the correct person.
I will support you in your Frosty Mug of Wisdom. Here you go. Watch out, it's cold. Take this handle, and it's yours. It's yours to do what you please with.
Thank you, man of the people, Todd. I will hand the Frosty Mug of Wisdom off to Chris to go first this week.
All right, so I have a musical soundtrack to share with you guys. I was gonna go a different route, but I figured, given the circumstances, a person in my community turned me on to I don't know if you guys know this. There's a Shrek the Musical. Have you guys seen this or watched it or anything?
Yeah, it's done a lot of times by like high schools and stuff around here.
Oh, okay. Well, there is a production on Netflix, which I have not watched yet. Going to. But I started by listening to the soundtrack. The soundtrack's very good. I mean, it follows the story of Shrek, one of the greatest movies released in 2002 or whenever it was released. But it follows the soundtrack to Shrek. The main character. Well, I'm gonna say whoever plays Princess Fiona is like incredibly talented. Her voice is spectacular. The main character is also very good, but she's my highlight. My highlight is Princess Fiona. Let me get her name real quick. Hold on, stupid phone.
Fiona Grandma Fingers.
That's what they call her.
Sutton Foster. Sutton Foster is Princess Fiona.
I like Fiona Grandma Fingers better, personally.
And her voice is spectacular. She also has like one of my favorite songs in the whole thing, which is I Know It's Today, but it's extremely good. It's got all of the, I don't know, if you enjoy Shrek and if you enjoy musicals, I recommend checking it out. It's pretty catchy. I've been binging it on the rides to work more recently, so I can't wait to watch the Netflix thing. I didn't even know it was really on there until so she was like, oh, it's on Netflix. I'm like, oh, cool. So
I know you haven't seen it,
yes.
But is it like a live action thing?
Yeah. There's like, people dressed up as Shrek and as Donkey and Fiona.
And so is it like a different take on the story, like from like Fiona's perspective, or is it just like retelling the same story, like much like The Lion King on stage?
It's more like The Lion King on stage, but it seems as though there are some maybe background into Lord Farquaad, because you get a couple songs about Lord Farquaad that you don't hear of, like his backstory and like why he's so the way he is, which is kind of nice. But as far as I can tell, everything else is basically just following the movie. I'll let you know in a future handle, most likely, when I watch it on Netflix.
The old
finally.
double dip.
Old double dip. Might as well.
Now, you can't tell me that you think that the Shrek soundtrack is better than the Grease soundtrack.
I mean, I could say.
I mean,
that.
you could, but I think you'd be. Would you say that? Are you saying that?
I've listened to the Shrek soundtrack more than the Grease soundtrack in my lifetime.
Have you listened to the Grease soundtrack before?
Yes, I have listened to it. I mean, I haven't listened to it a ton. I've listened to it before. I like Grease.
Have you seen Grease the musical?
I haven't seen the musical. I've only seen the movie.
Well,
I don't know if
that
counts.
That is the movie. It's a musical movie.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, then I've seen that. I haven't watched it recently. I've thought about watching it, but maybe I'll have to now. Poor Olivia Newton John. But anyways, better than Grease. Check out Shrek the Musical. One of the laundry list of musicals better than Grease.
Listeners, I think this will be my last episode on Drinking Alone with Friends. I think I'm going to retire.
Retire at 198.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Todd, who's going next?
I guess I'll go next. I'm not happy with that last handle. I wish I could. It's a
good musical. Listen to it.
I wish I could pour a handle out. My handle this week will be a nice portable speaker. To bring along in a travel bag, but you can also use it out and around a pool, or just outside in general. But it's small and it sounds really mighty. It is the JBL Clip 4. It's fits in the palm of your hand. It has a clip to it, so you can clip it to a backpack or in a backpack or on a line that you're hanging out in the yard, or if you have a string that's attached to a pool. It's waterproof. It only costs like $40, and it sounds incredible. Don't be fooled by getting the JBL Clip 3 as I was.
Amateur mistake.
Correct. Go out and get the new one, the JBL Clip 4, because I bought the third one, and I was like, no, I was supposed to buy the fourth one. So I bought the fourth one and have not returned the third one. I did not return the third one before I bought the fourth one. I played them side by side, and the JBL 4 has deep bass, high trebles, good mids. It is a great portable speaker coming in at $40. It's like I said, it's waterproof. You can't really go wrong. If you're hanging out at the top of a mountain, maybe after a hike, and you want to crank some tunes and maybe drink a beer, buy this thing. It only weighs, a couple ounces, so it's not like you're going to weigh any hiking pack down. You're outside with the kids, you maybe grilling some meats, clip this thing to your grill, bada bing, bada boom, outdoor stereo, ready to go.
Well, so it's waterproof, but we don't know if it's grill proof.
That is true. We do not know if it's grill proof. I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it on the grill, but you could put it next to the grill, for sure.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just wouldn't clip it directly to the grill.
Yes, I would clip it to like the side of the grill, like the metal part of the grill. The part that doesn't have flames shooting through it.
Sounds good. Yeah, clip your JBL speaker to like the part of the grill that holds like the tongs or whatever. They got like the little hook.
Perfect.
And then just blast that Shrek soundtrack.
No, blast the Grease soundtrack through that. But Ober, I thought of you as well because like you do a lot of hiking, and if you ever want to sit down and have some lunch and maybe listen to some great tunes while you're staring at a mountain or staring down a mountain, it's a great little thing. It's not too heavy. Obviously don't go hiking through the woods playing it because I think a lot of hikers will look at you funny, especially in Glacier, because I've noticed that, and you're there to be amongst nature. But once you're resting, you can be amongst the music.
Maybe I'll download some like top yodel jams and just like blast some yodeling from on top of a mountain peak.
You could do that. You could do some sea shanties.
That's a little less traditional, but okay.
Or just blast some Grease up there. You're getting.
I like that. There we go.
You're getting closer to Olivia Newton John. You want her to hear you up there, so go up to the top of the highest mountain and turn up the music.
Let her know that she is the one that I want.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm gonna take this Frosty mug, and I guess I gotta continue with the theme here. And I wasn't even gonna make this my handle, but we've done this Grease thing so much now that I have to put over a musical.
No.
I didn't want to, but you did it with the speaker too. Like, you really set me up for it. My favorite musical I've ever seen is Urinetown. I think I've talked about it before, at least to you guys. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but I love Urinetown. It's a weird show. The soundtrack, again, is phenomenal. It's very meta, and like it assumes that you've seen a lot of other musicals. So it's like very referential to, the traditional musicals. So maybe
like
not a good handle for Tud, but there's like one character like Little Susie something that is just like breaks the fourth wall constantly, and like she and the narrator talk back and forth about how like all the tropes that are going on in the story. And it's a dystopian future where to ration water, they charge everyone to use the toilet, so that that's how you don't use too much water, because you have to pay to pee. And then of course there's a hero, right? Hang on.
Captain P. P.P. Pants McGee.
No, of course the hero's name is Bobby Strong, and like what a stereotypical hero name. But they go in and they play on the tropes, and it does kind of poke fun at like capitalism and like post-capitalism and like the alternative to that too. And it's like, at the end of the day, maybe capitalism was all that was keeping the system in check. But I really enjoy it. I'm also going to put a link to the soundtrack in the show notes, because Urinetown is a great show. And I also realize now that Tud doesn't really listen to any of my handles anyway, so what does it matter?
And with that, we'd like to thank you for listening. We'd like to thank the breweries who provided today's beers. I will thank Abomination for the drippy popsicle.
I would like to thank both Arcane Ale Works and Deciduous Brewing Company for their Grandma Fingers pastry sour cherry dump cake, Tud's favorite beer.
At least the favorite name. I'd like to thank Four Quarters for their Sky Bliss.
Please make sure you head over to social media and follow us everywhere at DAWF Podcast. Also, make sure you follow the email at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. Please make sure you head over to Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can join and get some extra episodes of Drinking Alone with Friends, about 20 minutes long. And any dollar you spend towards that does help the show directly. Also, please head over to Discord and join the live conversation over there with other fans of the podcast. And finally, if you're a little too cheap to sign up for Patreon, just head on over to your favorite podcast listening app and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. That is the best way, if you're too cheap, to give us some money to help other people find this podcast. And then finally, good old word of mouth. You're sitting at a brewery, somebody's talking about how they like beer, you like beer, everybody likes beer, and you mention our podcast, and people are like, oh, I like beer and I like podcasts, and bada bing, bada boom, new listener for us. So make sure you do that as well. Go listen to Grease, celebrate Olivia Newton John, and with that, my name's Todd.
Go to Discord, tell us what we had for breakfast.
Obert does want to know what you had for breakfast.
Yeah.
With that, my name's Todd.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends. Now, the fact that I know that Todd doesn't listen to my handles does break my heart a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I really could ever convince him to find a new musical to listen to with your friends.
I don't think so, Obert. But I will say that, Everything and Everywhere All at Once, I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was a good one. I don't think Chris would like it, personally. I think there's a lot going on that he just would be like, nah, absolutely not.
No, that was a handle just for you, Todd. I knew Chris wasn't going to listen.
Right. I think
most of my handles are aimed at my two co-hosts.
I would say that I think Chris would play out, if he was watching on his couch, I think he would play on his phone too much to follow the story.
Is it
that complicated of a story?
Is it a good movie?
I think like with the subtitles and the non-subtitles and paying attention to this and that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good movie, Chris.
It is a really good movie.
But I don't think you like it.
It's fair. Is it because it's a movie?
Yes, mostly. Not only is it a movie, it's new.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's slightly old, though. I mean, it came out earlier this year.
Todd saw it in theaters. I mean, how old could it be?
Yeah, no, never mind.